All right, let's dive in. This is our second time playing this variation of Shen Fiora. So Fiora, for those not familiar, is one of the champions in this game that has an alternative win condition. So she levels up when she's killed 2 enemy units, and her leveled form is a little bit bigger and says when I've killed 4 enemy units and survived, you win the game. She notably has the challenger mechanic on both levels, which allows her to force things to block her. So basically what our deck is largely set up to do is kind of keep her alive and enable her to be able to kill things, not only as potential to alt win the game, but also just like a good removal slash piece of utility. So we've got a lot of effects like Riposte, which provide barriers to prevent damage to her. And then our other champion, Shen, whenever he attacks, he gives the ally next to him a barrier. So Shen and Fiora work very elegantly together because Shen allows Fiora to attack things down. I think Runeterra is pretty easy to follow if you have a little bit of understanding. My number one recommendation if you're looking to get into a little bit of Runeterra is just take like 5 to 10 minutes and install it on mobile or desktop and just play through the starting tutorial. I'll talk through some of the details as we get started here too, but definitely having a little bit of grasp from the tutorial will go a really long way. So this deck is a mid-range deck at its core. In addition to Fiora, we also have things like Fleet Feather Tracker and Laran Protege, which have the challenger mechanic to allow us to be interactive. I really love these challenger units in this archetype because they really fit nicely into a mid-range style shell like this is. These challenger units are able to act as basically removal against aggressive decks, but they're also able to apply pressure against decks that are more controlling. So that allows us to kind of assume that sometimes an aggro deck, sometimes a control deck, depending on our matchup. Yeah, I think that's covered most of the details. Got some removal like consecrated strike, but yeah, mostly leaning on the challengers like a cheeky deny and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here with this and see how it goes. Well, I make a deck page for Runeterra. So I feel like if I were to maintain deck pages, it would be a little redundant. If you go to Mobalytics here and click on their tiers, there's already players that maintain something very similar to like what I do for Historic. They hand curate lists of decks based on data and their own intuition and experience playing the game. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Yeah, it's really, really well done. So they're playing Ash, Shijani, Katarina. So this is probably, fun fact, the order these champions are in, unless they're playing 2 of each, they're probably on 3 Ash, 2 Shijani, 1 Cat. Actually, I think our hand's probably pretty good here. I'm going to go ahead and keep all of these. So we're attacking on, the only thing this hand doesn't have one of our 6 1-drops in it, but still very reasonable, and I don't think any of my cards are bad enough that I want to mulligan for them. Hey, Rad, I'm still here and not leaving anytime soon. Thank you for the very generous tier 3, and for the 26 months, I appreciate it. For people that are just getting into Runeterra, if you're first time seeing it or still getting a hang for it, remember, you get a resource and draw a card every single turn, similar to Hearthstone, but you get to play every turn, similar to Magic. You'll also note that neither my opponent nor I had a play on the first turn of the game, and instead of that mana just going away, it was banked down here into our spell mana pool. I am going to go ahead and play a threat out here. Now, the thing that rotates back and forth each turn is the who's attacking. So my opponent is attacking this turn. They don't have anything, so they're just passing. Hey, thanks, Red. Sounds good. Is the overlay on? Yeah, it should be. So now I have to decide, do I want to start by attacking or do I want to play out Fiora? I think I probably want to play out Fiora and see what they do. Putting another unit into play makes my Greenglade duo gain a power till end of turn. So even if they put a blocker out here that this doesn't want to attack into, I'll be able to attack in for 3 with this elusive most likely. Hey, Harlequin, thanks for the 10 months. So combat in this game is similar to Magic in that one player declares attackers and the other player declares blockers. They put this into play, which got rid of this power. I don't really want to trade my Fiora for their 3-1 here, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass. We'll be able to deploy Shen next turn, which will be able to give Fiora a barrier inside of combat, so she'll be able to block a little bit more efficiently here. Scotty, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, spell mana in this game gives you a lot of really interesting and elegant decisions in my experience. So I drew War Chefs here. So rather than playing Shen, because I have this Prismatic Barrier in hand, I might just play War Chefs out, which allows me to bank this 2 extra mana into 3 spell mana. So that way next turn, I can play Shen and then still have other barriers to put down. Ash is going to Frostbite things. I don't know, Rebecca. It depends on what Wizards of the Coast wants to do. I'm going to post a video tonight talking about what my plans are for my content. I could Bright Steel and block this. Is they're likely to attack here. I think I'm going to go ahead and Bright Steel because, I'm gonna do the War Chefs route. We'll take a little bit of a hit this turn, I think. I guess this also allows me to Greenglade duo trade for Ash if they attack with it, which is nice. Though either of them would let me do that, I suppose.
As the arrow flies.
So Ash attacks, she Frostbites the biggest thing. So she'll Frostbite Fiora down here. I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to trade these here and see what they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they have another Frostbite card here. Yes, they have a Brittle Steel. I like getting Brittle Steel out of the way here because it means that they're less likely to have something like that next turn. I could Barrier to save this, but I think I'm just going to let it die and have Barrier to protect my things in combat next turn. Is my plan. So I'm going to go ahead and pass here and just bank this 2 extra mana into spell mana. That's actually a really good draw. Because I can go Fleet Feather Tracker into Shen now if I would like. Would I like? I think I would. So this is a 2-1, then when you summon another ally, it gains Challenger.
Requires a watchful eye.
Reckoning's scary. Yeah, I don't know that we can really play around Reckoning. I guess we could commit fewer things to the board, but that's basically just going to be a blowout. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and the ordering on your attacks really matters in this deck with all of our support units. So both of these have support, so this will get a barrier, and this will get +1/+1. So is that even right? I guess I really want to hook Ash, right? If we do this, and I can see I can mouse over, the eye tells you how combat's going to play out. So if I do this and they don't have anything, my 3 of my things will live, and their 2 things on my bird will die. I think that's good. And they'll take some damage from these 2. Okay. You want to give Fiora 4 toughness to play around steel. Well, I couldn't give her 4 toughness and... I couldn't give her 4 toughness and a barrier from this, so I would have had to use a card out of my hand, which I wasn't super interested in doing.
Swiftly now.
Opponent's archetype also plays the 6 mana Frostbite 2 things, and sometimes the 3 mana Frostbite anything. So, like, you're not guaranteed to, like, have things work even if you do that. A Bionic, thanks to 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, this leveled into a 6/4 now. I suppose we can't just take a hit here. So I think I'm putting Fiora out here, and then Spirit's Refuging her. We'll end up at 15. We'll do a little bit of damage to this.
Demacia!
Rapace is a decent pickup, so Shen's getting close to leveling here.
Feel the sizzle!
Oh God.
No one goes hungry!
Let's do this and see what they do. I could play this, but not opening on attacks is much worse against Reckoning. So I think I want to open on attacks here. Okay, so I think the plan here is we riposte this, and then that levels Shen, and then I can barrier this to give her extra power.
Your move.
The balance has been maintained.
Thanks for the 2 months, Luke. I appreciate it.
I long for a worthier
Why not riposte Fiora? Because I don't want to lose both my warships, and I want to kill this. Now, we do need to dodge Harsh Winds here. If they have Harsh Winds, we get kind of blown out. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Probably dead to that.
House Laurent.
Eyes big eat up, friend!
Let's see if they open on attacks here or not. If they don't open on attacks and they don't have...
Pain is nothing.
Okay, so I think the play here is we play Bright Steel on this,
Honor
which makes it a 5/3, and then... Oh, shit, Ash. That doesn't work, does it? I guess Ash... Oh, they have Crystal Arrow too. Yeah, we're just dead.
Iceborne.
I did. Oh.
Yeah, the fact that the last time we played this deck was before... The last time we played this deck was before the last balance patch, and the Frostbite deck that the previous opponent was playing was not nearly as popular then. And the Frostbites really make our our removal, our units that are removal spells a lot worse, right? I'm gonna mulligan these two, looking for a 2-drop to curve off a Fleet Feather Tracker here. Missed. Also a touch awkward that we're attacking on evens, but it's what it is. It's fine that we don't have a 2-drop here, because banking spell mana in this deck is super reasonable with all of our various tricks. Good to go. Fiora into Shen.
Long for a worthy opponent.
Wonder if it's right to wait to play this till we have protection, because they are a Piltover deck, so we could get static shots. Not a big deal. I was worried about get excited would be bad. Now, they are a Mystic Shot deck too, so I think I'm going to go ahead and play War Chefs here, because that allows me to riposte in order to stop a removal spell on this. She gets +1/+1 bigger from the War Chefs here in combat.
Your move.
The Frostbite cards with Ezreal is interesting. I wonder if they're not playing Ashe by choice or if they're playing a budget deck.
Everything I've worked for.
Two worlds, one balance.
Okay, so again, ordering on attackers matters a lot. Because I'm ahead on board here, I'm going to start by attacking for the turn. Because if I start by attacking, my opponent does not get a chance to advance their board. Get mouse over the eye to see how combat's going to play out. Shen's going to give this a barrier. This is going to give Shen +1/+1, so... see if our plan survives contact with the enemy. No one plays budget in Runeterra. Yeah, probably not at the higher levels. The game's cheap enough that budget stuff's pretty uncommon. I agree with that. In case it wasn't obvious, I'll be sticking around regardless of WotC trash fires. Thanks, Beetle. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna do 3 Runeterra decks today. I see you talk about attacking on evens or attacking on odds. It preferred to turn dependent. Yeah, it depends. It depends on the curve of your deck, and it depends not only on the curve of your deck, but also
Water changes, but never
also what your draw looks like. They leveled Ezreal really quickly here. That being said, my health total's pretty high, and I have an elusive blocker here. I also have Consecrated Strike. Maybe I should have not played this, and I should have struck this in response, actually. Strike is very good with River Shaper because it counts as him striking to draw a card. Wargi, thank you for the very generous tier 3. Yeah, I'm mostly just not holding my breath on Wizard Exchanges. If they have another Mystic Shot or Get Excited here, I get a little bit punished. And this is why I could have been maybe right to not play this, because if I would have not played this, I could have held up Spirit Refugee. Okay, so they're digging. This is going to shoot me for 2.
What form will the waters take?
Hang on, CERN.
It's in a very bad place, Grits. So, like, for reference, like, streaming is my full-time job, and I've mainly streamed Magic for the entirety of that job. And if Wizards doesn't adjust their formats, I'm taking a break from Magic until their fall rotation in 6 weeks.
We swim within the flows of magic.
Let's get back up. A couple of barriers here. Doesn't really matter what order we do these in here, I suppose.
Can't fight on an empty stomach.
Okay.
A gift from the river folk.
If they have another Ezreal here, we could just die next turn.
Knocked and ready.
And they're 22 cards in at the moment. Oh yeah, that's a good thought. Putting it on here does heal it. Okay, so they're progress ding, which probably means they're dead, because I don't think they can play Ezreal and kill us with it this turn.
These woods protect their own.
Keeper, our lands need us. It is not yet their time.
Hey, T-Hunter, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Alright, so they should be super dead here. So how do we want to order my attackers? Probably want to order them to maximize the number of 3-power things that I have.
I find them unworthy. Our wills align.
Hey, December Black. Thank you for the 13 months, by the way. Don't want to miss that one. So now that Shen's leveled, all my barriers give +3 attack. So all of these are +3 attack cards.
Protect the villages.
So if they manage to, you know, harsh winds and frostbite their way through not dying here, they're going to die elsewhere.
My father's blade.
He's so cold, chat. He's so cold. Okay, level chat is very good. Alright, they're digging.
Nature blesses her followers.
Got him.
Everything as it should be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Runeterra getting another set in another region. In addition to that's one of the things Runeterra seems to really have a lock on. In addition to doing regular balance patches, they plan to pump out sets pretty regularly. They plan to do card injections every 2 months with a new region or color every 6. They said, I believe. Which seems like a pretty good rate. I'm doing well, Death. You're staying safe out there. Having a good time playing a great game. Sajani Swain. I'm going to keep the Prismatic Barrier. I'm going to bank the Spirit Refuge. Lifesteal probably not super relevant here. Yeah, one of the fact that they're going to keep adding regions to this game is really going to add a lot of deck building permutations. The game has a little bit of restriction coming from Magic, where in Magic you can mix and match any of the 5 colors together in 3, 4, and even 5 color combinations. But like, once this game has, you know, double-digit worth of factions, it'll have as many or more combinations as Magic does at that point. I've been laddering with Tempo Endure, and I'm almost through to Challenger. Nice, Beetle. I think that deck's really good. I expect all 3 of the decks we're playing today are super reasonable. Maybe we can do a little bit of climbing ourselves. Second Fiora is nice. Means I get to play the first one out pretty aggressively.
Hey, Krabby.
That's my resting face.
That's my resting face.
I long for a world.
Fiora's champion spell is Riposte. So for those new to Runeterra, similar to legendary things, these can only have, you can only have one of your champion in play at a time. Oh, almost. You can only cast, if you have a champion in play, you can't play a second one from your hand. It turns into its champion spell. You can, however, cheat second copies of champions into play with some various tools in the game.
Let the flames take you.
That's really annoying. So it's going to trigger their Crimson Curator, and it's going to kill my Green Glade duo next turn.
You're covered.
Hey, Hooker. Thanks for the 3rd of year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So it's going to go ahead and just kill this here, unfortunately.
If only Fiora could see me now.
She can. She's not impressed. War Mason, reporting for duty. The few for the many.
Okay, so opponent's deck has a lot of ways, a lot of combat tricks in it often. This is going to kill these next turn. I guess I could hook that to prevent it. I could also just pass, though, and, like, let this deal a damage to all of our stuff. Like, this'll die. I could also just attack with this, but then they might trade with one of these, but they're dying anyway, so, like, does that really matter? I'm gonna attack with just this and take it a little bit slow. I've got all these protection spells in my hand, so...
My duty's done.
This'll take the chill off.
That's very good. So that's a little bit of a punish for us leaving this alive. This is going to get to generate another Crimson next turn when it survives damage again. Wow, okay, so this is really medium for us. So the fact that they had this and Transfusion here made the just pass and let them kill their thing plan really not great for us. Yeah, that explains their sequencing a lot.
It's nothing personal.
Sharp blade, sharp
I
mind.
think go ahead and just trade these here. This is gonna die to this anyways.
I have the name. I need the reputation.
Save your world. We speak with blades.
Come, Clara, we have much to teach you.
I can't wait. Strike quickly or die.
So these have challengers. They could force these things to block. Expecting some kind of combat trick out of my opponent here. Not really. Okay. Swain's pretty rough here if they have some direct damage. So this says every time they deal direct damage to my Nexus, it stuns my strongest back row unit, which is not great for me. Gummed up a little bit on tricks here.
You own what you take.
Okay, so they're hooking this here.
Your move. Where are you going?
I'm gonna take 7 here because this overwhelms. So it's still, even though this has a barrier, it only deals 1.
Learn, change, re-engage.
Let's try 1 or 2 more with this build. There was another build up on... This is what we have been playing pre-patch. There's another build of something close to this that was up on Mobilytics that I was looking at last night that I almost swapped it out to, but wanted to try this a little bit more. Yeah, the fact that burst is not strictly better than fast is really evident in stacks like that. I'm gonna mulligan these, looking for 1 and 2 drops to curve under Fiora here. Perfect. Opponent playing Lux Karma, so likely a controlling shell.
I am one with the land. Intruders!
Denounce magic.
Hey, Krabby!
That's my resting face. My cause is righteous.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and just trade these here.
Where you
This eventually gets Challenger and bigger, so I think this is an okay exchange for me. Opponent's deck is controlling, so probably gonna have ways to deal with that Elusive eventually anyways. I'm gonna lead on River Shaper here to see if we can get some card advantage going.
I walk the space between worlds.
So I assume Valor's gonna hook something here. This seems like a fine exchange for us, right? Because it strikes, we get to draw a card.
Form will the waters take?
Now the question is, do I want to play Fiora out pre-combat, or do I want to just go ahead and attack with these for 6? This gets bigger every time I lay a barrier down. I think I just want to attack for 6 here. See what they do. This doesn't give them the opportunity to, like, stun this before attack, so I can start leveling him up. He's a good-looking Merfolk. Just dealt 6. Opponent passed to me. I'm just gonna pass back and bank some spell mana here.
Their guilt is evident.
I long for a world.
Now, we could see a 6-mana spell happen here to trigger Mage Seeker, but that's fine, because I still got plenty of barriers here to protect my things if they want to challenge them. Like a Remembrance here, maybe? Yeah, the addition of the support, like, highlight is really well done.
The Kinku go where they are needed.
So, that barrier there swaps them around. So now they're fighting this instead. The bounce here is pretty good. Even at 5 mana, that card's great. This leaves a barrier on my Green Glade, though, which means they don't have good attacks this turn, which is nice. The 3-mana Prismatic Barrier here is actually great, because it allows me to be able to play Shen and still put up a barrier this turn. I'll have an updated schedule and a YouTube video posted about it tonight.
Your place is still in the mortal world.
Nature blesses her followers.
So now we get to do this. Shen barriers this. This goes up to an 11. This is technically a lethal attack. What's going on, Bicky? Thanks for 11 months. Yeah, maybe. We're gonna do some variety stuff. I think, it looks like Wizards hasn't announced that they plan to make any changes to their formats, and maybe they'll do it this afternoon, but if they don't make changes to their formats, I'm going to take a hiatus from their game. And I think the plan's gonna be like do a little bit of variety, do a little bit of Runeterra each day, and then a little bit of variety each day.
Balance favors you.
Nature blesses her followers.
I mean, from the technically correct perspective, their top 8 was diverse.
I fight for the fallen.
So again, combat in this game resolves left to right. So I'm going to put my challenger unit all the way down on the right with their lifelink, and the rest of my things will pile up here.
You fought with honor.
Yeah, actually, I actually took sponsored segments for 2 different roguelike card games that are newer, so those will definitely be on my schedule for later this week, regardless of what happens. One of them's actually made by the same company that made the, what was it, the Dungeon Masters game, Dungeon Keepers, that we played before. Opponent is playing Teemo Lee Sin. Mulligan these two, look for some more aggressive cards to curve into. I think we have a no, I think we cut the Unyielding Spirit. Unyielding Spirit got a lot worse when it was downgraded to fast. Like, a lot worse.
1, 2, 3, 4. Swiftly. More muscles.
So Teemo is elusive here, so we cannot block him. So I think with that draw, I'm actually going to go ahead and Fleet Feather into Green Glade. Because the last time we played the Shen Lux Shell, Lux just felt really kind of underwhelming. She felt like she was doing something the deck really wasn't super interested in doing.
Silent as death. I will play my part. Strength in grace, beauty in the blade.
Two worlds.
If they don't have a Get Excited here to kill Fiora, we're going to be in a pretty good spot.
I sense an
Try me.
So I get to barrier this, which triggers Green Glade Caretaker here. They're going to bounce this around. Sure, they're still taking 6 here from this combat separate. So they save their thing and they get to draw another card with it down the line, but...
The dark beckons.
Yeah, plus turns like this, Shen works really well with Fiora. Having a way to protect her consistently is very powerful.
Another day in the field. The Yordle here's with me. They cannot hide. Where are you going?
And I'm gonna be honest, at this point, SoCat, I'm just like pretty over people in Magic having bad takes on things regarding to how the ban list is managed in that game. Just solidly over it. We're gonna have a really good open attacks next turn.
Flavor and spice.
And that's another reason why I'm going to take a break from Magic. I feel like I've just been super negative with Magic for so long because of how the game's been managed. And it's really nice playing a game. It's just really nice playing a game like Runeterra where I just get to enjoy the game and not feel frustrated by the people that make the game the entire time. Shen is 2 barriers away from leveling here. Hey, thanks for the 5 months, Snowsource. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Any desire to try the Singleton event? Not at the moment. Okay. Riposte is lethal. Is it? That's not true, right? Oh, it is true because of, that's funny. Alright, sure.
Counter and strike.
YOLO. Green Glade Caretaker is super powerful. Just like the casual 10-2 1-drop.
There will no match.
Reminds me a lot of Champion of the Parish from Magic. Just like reasonable 1-drop that you're like happy to play out. It lets you curve out and get some scales as the game goes long. I'm gonna mulligan these looking for 1 and 3 drops. Didn't find one of our ones. This is fine. Yeah, we try to have commands for everything. If I don't make commands, it's just like me repeating myself pretty constantly, which gets tedious for people that want to watch all day. Right on time, Green Glade.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
I think I'm actually playing this out, because if they want to trade their 5-1 for this, that's fine. I think I'd rather trade this than trade my War Chefs here.
Save your worlds. We speak Strike quickly, strike death. Try me.
I guess I missed a point of damage here. They didn't challenge this, so that means they weren't going to block with this. Although I suppose because they didn't have mana last turn, they could have a Frostbite to eat this, so maybe not attacking is right. It is only 1 point of damage either way. Oh, it can't block. Duh. Okay, yeah, definitely just missed a point of damage. Good call. Good call. Pictures and stuff.
For the hand!
Curtis, thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is a regular riposte, not a Fiora's riposte. Worth noting.
Rivers shape the land and give it life.
So neither of these are blocking at the moment. They do have 4 mana up here, so we could see a Fury happen.
Face me. For glory, you're mine. Strike without worry.
Yeah, it'll be okay. These two are gonna bump off of each other here, which is fine. Which champions are best to craft with limited number of wild cards? I don't really know. One of the tough parts about this game is it's not like Magic where there's just like one busted thing that's infinitely better than everything else. The game's like pretty well balanced overall. So it's hard to say, hey, you have to do these, you shouldn't do this.
For a worthy opponent. Everything's better with
Might be right to hold up riposte here. Let's play 2/2 drops out. Yeah, I'm gonna get Reckoninged and die. Yeah. I think I'm gonna shelve this build and try the other one from Mobalytics. What's this? Yeah, let's try this. Oh, now I have 2 things with the same name. Awkward. The left one is the old one. Demacia Bannerman seems fun. I like that one. That was the deck I played off stream to push into Diamond with. Some of the other people that have worked on that archetype play it with Misfortune as a splash very reasonably. Make sure Bannerman a little bit less consistent on the Allegiance trigger, but Misfortune is just a powerful card. I don't know if I necessarily like the splash. I don't know that Misfortune is that much better than just playing Garen. Opponent is playing Kalista Elise, so probably Tempo Endure, the deck we're going to play next. I'm going to mulligan my extra Shen here. How much money would I need to spend to build? That was the actual best draw on our deck. So, Average tier 1 deck in this game costs somewhere between $20 and $30 usually. There's also champion list decks that you can build for sub $5 that tend to be pretty competitive as well. The free-to-play system in this client is very generous. The monetization setup for Runeterra, unlike Magic, isn't incredibly predatory. So their 2-3 here has Fearsome, so only blocked by things with 3 or more attack. I'm going to go ahead and play Brightsteel Protector out here as just a fog, basically. It's going to barrier this up and give it 2 extra attack, which is nice. So you can, when you buy cards in Runeterra, you buy exactly the cards you want and nothing else, which is quite fantastic.
Grace, beauty in the blade.
Yeah, for the price of getting 1 mythic wild card in Magic Arena, you can get an entire competitive deck here. Okay, so they basically are playing this out for a fog, kind of like we did last turn. So these things are ephemeral, so they're going to go away at end of turn regardless. This one does not, so I'm going to attack in with my Challenger and trade this here. But my 3/2s I'm just going to keep home because I don't want to trade them for their 2/1s that are going to die anyways. Sure. Wonder if we're gonna see a second Vile Feast happen here. Laurent Protege dying either way isn't a particularly big deal.
Requires a watchful eye.
That's really good. Okay, so they were just playing that to make a spider, so that way they could hook some things here. So they're gonna kill these 2 probably, I imagine. They might kill my Challenger, actually. Probably instead of the 3/2. Because the Challenger is extra scary with Shen. I think Demacia in general is my favorite faction. I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite faction to pair it with.
I sense an imbalance.
But they're saplings.
Also, they'll never be under pressure to sell new packs, which means Runeterra shouldn't suffer from power creep. And, like, if their game creeps a little bit, they can fix that, right? Like, so this card gets lifesteal and tough if something I had died this turn. I think I'm just playing it out as a 5/5 since I have a second one. Like, not using my mana here isn't super appealing. It's like having a big chunky monkey sounds fine. The opponent's playing Elise and Kalista. Pretty typical tempo endure. Yeah, this is a different variation than what we started with and what I tweeted out. It's listed as mid-range Shen in my mobilytics. That's pretty good. So this makes 3 1/1s that are ephemeral, so they're guaranteed to die at end of turn. And Kalista here levels up when she sees 3 things die.
Is a weapon.
Hold back the darkness.
And you can see here, when I mouse over the eye, it tells me what's going to happen here. These 3 things are going to die. It shows Kalista to level up and trading with this. And I think I'm okay with that exchange. So I'm going to go ahead and hit blocks. It's not strictly a bad Kalista attack. This attack probably signifies they have a second Kalista in their hand, because remember, once you level up one of your champions, all versions of that champion stay leveled up in your deck. So, I think that attack's almost assuredly fine. They probably have another Kalista. Or something like Rekindlers, very likely, yeah. We'll bank our 1 extra mana, so we have a total of 8 mana here. Relentless Pursuit is very good.
It must be done.
Might be able to pressure them out of the game here. Shen is 2 barriers away from leveling.
It will all be over soon.
Do I judgment? No, I think we can kill them, right? If I riposte here, they take 5, and then I relentless pursuit and they die, right? They only have 1 mana. I guess they could have a blocker here, but that's pretty. They don't have a 1/1 for 1. So relentless pursuit lets me rally, which for those new to Runeterra means I get another combat step here. So if they don't have a blocker, they're just dead.
Enforced equilibrium. Our wills align.
Kamage Rider, thanks for the 3rd of the year. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
You fought with honor.
Hey, we're up to almost 500 people in here today. Thanks, I appreciate that. For anybody who's a new viewer and not one of my regulars, welcome to Hoaglandia. Welcome back to all of my regulars, too. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream card games full-time here on Twitch. Been dipping into a bunch of Runeterra recently. Easily one of the best and most refreshing card games I've played to date. Been enjoying it a lot. I've been trying to do Runeterra stuff almost every day here on the channel. Hey, Papint, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. So, opponent is playing Yasuo Katarina, so probably a control deck. Definitely want my Green Glade on 1. Definitely don't want my 9-drop in my opener. Single combat I could go either way on. I think I'm going to mulligan this, looking for 2s and 3s to fill in on my curve between Green Glade and Shen here.
These woods protect their own. Who goes there?
Thanks, Gog. There could have been some merit to keeping the single combat, because a lot of these Yasuo decks aren't particularly potent if they don't keep Yasuo in play.
One with the land.
That is actually a great draw.
My shield is yours.
Gives me something to do this turn, and a barrier makes both of these 3/2s.
Underestimate. I dare you.
I don't think I want to trade Green Glade Caretaker for a Sentry here, so I think I'm just going to attack for 3 here.
I go where the road takes me.
They might just pass here and not attack.
Try to keep up.
That is a bold attack, opponent. That is a bold attack. Hats, thank you for the 33 months of support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Nature blesses her followers.
Now, I think I need to open on Bannerman here. Yeah, because it's important that I try and make these bigger before they can start stunning or recalling them to kill them with Yasuo. So every time they stun or recall, Yasuo hits them for 2 open attacks. No, I don't think so. So they powered up Steel Tempest in the last patch, so I think giving them the ability to do that there is not great. I think I'm just passing here at this point. I don't really want to trade this for this. And this, my 3/3 can't stack into the 4/4.
Some things never dull.
Nah, Dwight.
Do not waver.
Taking a bit of a magic cooler right now.
I fight for the fallen.
Hold on. This is probably a deck that still plays Will of Iona, so they could get tempoed on this. Yep. So that lets Yasuo kill this. This is 3 out of 5 towards leveling here. We're in a little bit of a bad spot here. I'm gonna have 3 spell mana plus 7 total mana next turn. Yeah. That's interesting. Probably not doing this turn. I think I'm playing Laron, Protege, and then Shen, and then getting into combat. The fact that we haven't, and this kind of board state is actually exactly why I was considering if I wanted to keep the single combat in my opener.
Destiny's
The Eye of Twilight.
Yeah, single judgment against the stun deck is not a great scene for our hero. Yeah, stun fizzles judgment because the thing's no longer in combat, and now Yasuo's leveled, so he strikes things, so we're probably just dead at this point. Yeah, like I said, there was, like I said when we were mulliganing, there was potential merit to keeping the single combat because my opponent's deck, like our opponent's deck is basically what I refer to as a 2 or a 10 deck. It's like a 2 when it doesn't have Yasuo in play, but when it does, it's a 10. Easy 10. Yeah, we're just gonna get destroyed at this point.
I have disgraced the king.
You mentioned that this game has the best play draw disparity of any card game you've played, but in what ways is it superior that WotC could incorporate that to improve Magic? I don't. That's not my job. Just in the most blunt way possible, it's not my job to fix Magic, and I don't really have a desire to like offer up ideas that even if they're good ideas, they're just gonna get shit on. So like, it doesn't make me happy to think about why Magic sucks and how I can make it better, because me spending time trying to fix their game that has piles of issues at this point is just wasted effort. There are 3,000 different ways Wizards of the Coast could try and balance their game better, and they just don't want to try any of them. It's very annoying and frustrating. Now, Brahma Nivea, probably not a single combat matchup. Let's just try and mulligan this and hit a good 2-drop unit. You know, big. 1-drop into 1-drop, close enough.
Lady Elise, where are you?
Ick. Don't really want to trade my 2/1 challenger for their 1/1.
I must get out of here.
These woods protect their own.
If they're out there, I'll spot them.
Alright, so Frozen Shadow Isle control. Probably playing around deal 1s if possible.
They would fall by my blade.
This is probably Vile Feast gonna happen.
Let them eat some. Try me. Who goes there?
I guess we'll just do this. So they're killing their own thing to draw 2 cards, which also denies Fiora the kill importantly, so she does not work towards leveling up. If I play Shen, we could get Grasped here, the 5 mana deal 3. Wow, they just have Stone Cold Nothing. That's great for us.
It must be.
Easy open attacks here. Soliphistic Squirrel, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Be a pretty good one wherever you're at. And this is like not a big deal either, right? We like let this happen. They take 6. We play Radiant Guardian with Lifesteal and Tough.
Justice will be served.
We're still a few turns off of this. So not next turn, but the turn after we'll be able to do it. Yeah, it's what it is. So do I want to single combat to clear this out? I have lethal even without that, right? So I think the answer is no. I think I just end round and then open attacks here. Man, playing Shen has some real appeal, but I think I'm just supposed to do this. They've already played 2 Vengeance, and like I have Riposte to stop a direct damage spell. I think we just do this. Well, that gives them +3. So if I Riposte here, it's +5. So we kill them. I think developing is wrong because my opponent had played 2 copies of Vengeance already. Is the reason to develop there. So because the punish for not developing is Vengeance, and because they were already through 2 of the 3, I think we're pretty safe to open attacks. Yeah, I agree. So far, this build seems a lot more reasonable than the one we started with. I'm glad we switched to it. Feels more cohesive. Feels very, very similar. Feels very similar to the Demacia mid-range deck that I really liked. Pretty sure we just always keep the Green Glade Caretakers in the opener.
These
Are
will
you?
protect their own. Fine and wisp. Steady my hand.
Steady my hand. That's true. We have not hit the Frostbite decks yet, which we had a couple of times. It felt hard with the previous one.
I am one with the land. These woods protect their own.
That is true. They do play Avalanche, and maybe I feel like this emote means we're about to get avalanched.
Intruders!
Please pass. Okay, sick. We'll take it. So, bank spell mana. If they don't lead on Avalanche, we're going to play Bannermen to try and pump these above Avalanche range here.
Safeguard our citizens.
So, opponent has 7 mana here, unfortunately. Wow, this is actually lethal if they have nothing, right?
Your mother will unite us all.
So...
I sense an imbalance.
Stand and defend.
So I think the play is just single combat trade these. This is lethal? No, it's not. I'm one mana short, right? I need a 5th mana to do this in this. This only puts them to 9. So if I do this, I only put them to 2. Putting them to 2 might be better though. Shen's dying, chat. Vanu, thank you for the sub gifty. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm aware that the barrier would protect it, but I don't have enough mana to single combat and rally here, chat, is the issue.
This is our homeland. Stand and defend.
Okay, I was like, what is that block about? The fact that we drew double judgment against the control deck feels really bad. It's pretty unfortunate. Maybe this can steal for us here? Cross our fingers and try and steal here. Yeah. I think I don't know, the judgments in this deck might just be... The judgments in this deck might just be too cute. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Vanu. I know that not doing Magic is gonna cost me dollars, but playing Magic is gonna cost me sanity, so... I don't know. I'm at a point where I can comfortably find out how much money I'm gonna lose not playing Magic and see if it's still enough to have this be a job. Magic will always be there, and if I feel like I need the income and want to drag myself back and slog through it, that's fine. But also just like, even doing Magic content, my sub count's been going down, because my Magic content just honestly hasn't been very good, because Magic hasn't been a very good game. And watching someone sit there and like play a game that sucks isn't very exciting. I'm not Crokies. I can't just slog through Team of Wreck Mirrors. It's just not fun for me. More power to him. Hey, a cat herder. Thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Easy mulligans here. I'm gonna keep the Bannerman. I might be right to mulligan for 2 drops more aggressively. That is a fantastic draw, so now we've got a perfect 2, 3, 4 curve here. Magic must be down the drain if it's better to stream Runeterra. Well, I mean, like I just said, I'm almost assuredly going to lose money streaming Runeterra versus Magic, but Magic just also hasn't been fun for me in a very long time. And I've like tried to slug through it, and I think I'm at a point where I'm ready to try and bail out. Wizards doesn't... The game Wizards is making doesn't feel like it's a game that I enjoy playing anymore. Kodama, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Runeterra is great. Runeterra has been just a fantastic breath of fresh air. The core gameplay mechanics of Runeterra are phenomenal. In my opinion, the only thing that Magic does better than Runeterra is having a deep card pool at this point. And Runeterra is going to eventually solve that, or catch up there with set releases. Yeah, I agree. I agree that Runeterra has a lot of potential. I like the core game a lot, like I said. So, now I have a decision to make here. This monkey idol is going to sit here and make powder monkeys. I think I'm just attacking with this here, just so they don't have another powder monkey next turn. I think I basically just like let them fog me with this, effectively. This will deal damage here. Next turn it'll kill itself by making another powder monkey, and then on my next turn on 6, I'll be able to get good attacks in again. Yeah, quite possibly, Joel. And like I said, at the end of the day, like, I'm fortunate in that, you know, I have a lot of privilege and I'm pretty well off, so I can afford to take a risk with my income in the short term. I'm just gonna focus on playing the game I like more than anything. And right now, Runeterra is definitely the game I like. Hey, DMV Boom, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Glendia. And I think we just take this in here, right? Because this is ephemeral, so it's going to disappear. We might actually, with the 8 mana rolled up here, this might be a play Shen into rally turn, depending on what they do.
The balance requires a watchful eye.
Yeah, I agree, Howitzer. Like I said, I think if Riot hits their card release goals, this game has a really bright future out of it. So let's let do I single combat to save my Green Glade Caretaker? It's still gonna take 1, and they're gonna have a spider. So I think the answer is no. I think I just let this happen. Hey, Quetzalcoat, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. And then now the question is, do I bank this mana for next turn so I can Relentless Pursuit after the Bannermen? Or do I get my Relentless Pursuit on right now? Because their board's not that great at the moment, right? I think I want to Bannermen and develop next turn. This could be wrong, though. Yeah, I agree with that, Jurassic War Machine. Runeterra does a very good job of feeling like almost every game that I play had meaningful decisions in it. Now that they spent all their mana here, it could be right to Relentless Pursuit to, like, push their board down, and then I can also open on attacks again next turn to push a lot of damage. Because with the Laron, I can pick off some stuff here, too. I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna play this out before we start doing stuff. Your content got me into Runeterra, and while watching you play Magic was fun. You're absolutely correct. I mostly watch on YouTube and happy to see you engaged. Thanks, Boom. It's good to have you here.
One banner, one destiny.
So, well, poop. So this is Allegiance, so we know the top card of our deck is not a Demacia card. Alright, so I think the plan here is do this, and I can hook this into here, and this is going to get bigger. We'll barrier this. Yeah, I think we're still in an okay position to attack and rally. This turn, I agree with that. Yeah, there were 4 Ionia cards and 30 cards there, so not likely to miss there, but it happens. Is it basically random with no indicator? So it is a mechanic that contains random in it, but the variance is based on what's on the top of your deck. So it's basically a payoff or incentive for being mostly single colored, if that makes sense. So this card always works in a mono Demacia deck, because you will always have a Demacia card on top of your deck if you're only Demacia cards. So these alliance abilities, allegiance abilities, incentivize you during deck building to say mostly one color. That's a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world either. There's currently no way... No, yeah, there's no scrying or anything like that in Runeterra currently. Okay, so this is gonna hook something this turn, and then we can play Radiant Guardian. Then I have 9 mana total here, so we can... Are they just gonna pass on me and steal my mana? Ugh, that's rude. That's good. Good sequencing on the opponent's part. Suppose I could technically do this now? And, like, put them to 5? Hey, Pilot Ninja, thanks for the 13 months. The non-magic games are limited by a seeming unwillingness to put a buttload of text on a card. That's spoken like someone that's never looked at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon card before. I recently picked up some Pokemon cards, or Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards to... I actually probably want to do this here, so that way this takes 3. And then I can single combat to kill this. I recently picked up my children some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and let me tell you about a game that has too much text. Do I even want to open attacks here, or do I want to play another Protege out? That's tough. Let's play Protege out, actually. The turn sequencing and priority system in this game just has so many permutations.
Can't fight on an empty stomach.
So they were trying to make it rain to kill this. They failed. How do we feel about single combating? I'm gonna say go for now and see what they do post-combat. If they have another Vile Feast, it's probably right to single combat sooner. If they had another Vile Feast, I feel like they might have played it inside of combat, though. Okay, there's a draw, too. They picked up a Vile Feast from this. We're gonna get in a little bit of trouble here. Okay, so everything worked out better than expected. Now, our opponent is on... These archetype could be playing, what's the 9 mana sweeper? I'm blanking on its name. Could have a Wrath here. Ruination, yeah, that's the one. What delightful agony we shall inflict.
These woods protect their own.
Okay, step 1, didn't get Ruinationed. That one hurts a little bit. This is halfway towards leveling here.
2 steps ahead.
We'll be able to open on attacks next turn. That is a good one. Gosh, I could technically push lethal with that, right? With the Greenglade Caretaker. I think that's the line. I think we try for lethal here. And if they go to kill either of these in response, I can Judgment to kill the Thresh and save my Fiora. Yeah, Judgment's not been great. I feel like the Judgments are probably just better as Consecrated Strikes. Like, I know Judgment's a card that generates some blowout turns, but I feel like its average use case is, like, pretty mediocre. This card's great.
We each died, then found.
That card's also great.
I never hold back. Try me.
Please, I have connections!
This will be quick.
So this lets the barrier save the 3, and then this takes 1 in combat here. Hooking the 1/1 guarantees the kill on either of the other 2. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Stealing coins and cards.
Yeah, I guess you're right that that's better.
You point, I shoot. Precision and grace.
This hasn't killed anything yet. Do I want a Fiora's riposte to save this? Hopefully.
Your move.
It gets me a 1 counter on her at least. I could have 1 extra toughness on a new Fiora, but this Fiora will have a point towards leveling up, which is nice. Yeah, the monkey idol here gives them a lot of blockers though.
I've whipped up something special.
So is that. Alright, sure, why not? It's a shame we don't have a Shen out, chat. There's a really, there could, oh, they must not be playing Ruination, right? Like that concession there means no sweeper.
I expected.
Did they toss it? Maybe they only had 1. They tossed 1 earlier. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of these 8 mana spells. They're real clunky. I know that this card, like, you get to, like, live the dream and blow people out sometimes, but I think this is worse than just having cheaper, more consistent removal. Consecrated Strike is a card that this still works with Fiora to randomly level her, like, single combat, and it's just cheaper and more consistent. Like, being able to kill things that they're not attacking with is also great. You have more control over the timing, etc. Ezreal, Twisted Fate, am I just keeping all of these? I think I might be keeping all of these, huh? We're just gonna go like Sheps into Fiora into a Bright Steel down the line. I think we're just like, seems fine. Removal's a bit more expensive, like Vile Feast. Yeah, on a from a raw numbers perspective compared to Magic, it costs more mana. But because you have a linear resource progression in Runeterra paired with the ability to bank mana between turns, that the spells are pretty well balanced. In fact, one of the recent patches that we had increased a card that's effectively unsummoned from 4 to 5 mana, because at 4 mana, unsummon was borderline too good. Not even more, it was too good.
I long for a worthy opponent.
Yeah, definitely, Scholar. Dreadway combo was sweet last time we played it, and last time we played it, they hadn't nerfed the unsummon yet, so that deck probably even gets better with less Will of Iona running around. Yeah, that's true too from what Praywait said. Because damage is persistent across turns, it changes the dynamic a lot too.
Deal me in. Dead in their tracks.
Probably losing a mana here. Twisted Fate into pick a card's pretty good. That being said, next turn I'm gonna get to open on Bright Steel Protector Barrier this, so we should hopefully be able to attack this down before it levels up. And single combat is perfect, because that means if they try and kill one of my things here, I can single combat to fight this in response. This Twisted Fate is notable here. Champions in this game vary whether or not they have to see something versus just happen while it's in your deck. Scholar, thank you for the absurdly generous tip. I appreciate that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, well. The Ezreal play is interesting. Thank you for your absurd support, Scholar. I appreciate it as always. And we're Mystic Shotting me here, which means I'm going to go ahead and single combat like we said.
This will be quick.
Give him a little shoulders. Oh, maybe the Ezreal, they played a pick a card. The Ezreal play there was probably because it was a fleeting card. Probably because it was a fleeting card.
I'm not greedy. My friends, though.
These woods protect their own.
Alright, let's see if we miss the allegiance here too. That would be not great. Okay, well that happened, so now I get to do this.
Justice will be served.
And I'm going up to 7 mana. I'm going up to 10 mana total here. So I get to go ahead and lead on... Man, choices. Okay, I think with this draw, I lead on this.
Spirits and their swords.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, do I want to double rally this turn? I think I'd rather protege into this into rally. Someone took a break from Magic a year and a half ago and turned back to your channel. How does this game work? My number one recommendation, Mystical Pot, would be if you have a mobile device or a PC, is download the game and play through the tutorial. It's completely free to download and check out. And then if you have any questions after playing through that, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
Soldiers, to me.
This is actually lethal, right? A lot of the little details are easier to pick up if you've played the tutorial. And I'm always happy to answer questions about specific cards once you have a good base. And not only is so for people that are familiar with me, you'll know that I don't free to play any of the games that I play. I've spent thousands of dollars on Hearthstone and Magic Arena, and for Runeterra, because I've been going a little bit crazy with the cosmetics, I think I'm up to 400 bucks currently. But this is my job and I get to write it off. I just like to have nice things, chat. But as someone who's spent piles of money on lots of card games, my money has definitely gone further in Runeterra than literally any other digital card game I've ever played. I used to play Hearthstone. Yeah, if you look back, I think it was like start of 2018, I dipped into a little bit of Hearthstone. Yeah, Beetle funds a lot of my emotes. He's got the golden whale there. And honestly, it just feels good to play and promote a game that's not super predatory. Like, it feels good to be like, okay, this game's not fleecing its customers because they know they can. Huh. Okay, so with Sithra the Bold here, I think if my opponent hadn't played a 1-drop, I would lead on Caretaker. But because they played a 1-drop, I'm going to lead on Fleet Feather Tracker. Because on 2, I can give my tracker a barrier, which lets my tracker eat their 2/2 in combat. I always feel bad killing her.
Smell that? A fight's a cooking.
Okay, so I guess killing this doesn't really do much. Because, like, this is gonna get 3-2. I could single combat here, but burning a single combat to kill a chef's doesn't seem particularly good. I think I'm just gonna pass for now and see what they do. See which of my two things they hook with this. Really? They're just not attacking. Okay, that's interesting. It's a choice.
The balance requires a watchful eye.
So now, if they don't have a removal spell, my Shen can protect my 2-1, and I can hook into their thing.
Enforced equilibrium.
So again, Shen gives his supported ally a barrier, so this is going to live through combat, as the eye shows me here. Yeah, if I could just ask in chat, I appreciate the people that do normal memes, but one of the things I like to try and do is be able to engage with questions in chat. So rather than like the normal like Keck W's or Targans out, apparently there's a thing from other Runeterra streams, I'd appreciate if we try and keep the chat constructive and specific. We only have 600 people in here, but even with that, if everybody's chatting, it can be a little bit hard for me to keep up sometimes. So, want to try and do my best to catch as many messages as possible. So, I think I'm actually just going to pass here, right? Because they're likely to open on attack with the Scout. I'll trade with my 2-1, and then we'll drop Radiant Guardian post-combat. Now, they could punish me by not attacking, but I think they're aggressive enough that they really want to attack here. I guess another decision I could make here is I could trade the 3-2 for the 3-run and then keep my Challenger to kill this next turn. That's probably a little bit better, huh? I'm actually going to trade these off so my Hawk can eat their War Chefs down the line. Because now my Scout units give my opponent a second combat step with all their units, and this makes their combat pretty bad here. Opponent agrees that their combat is pretty bad here.
You fought with honor.
Alright, Thresh, Lux, so certainly a control deck here. Definitely want to mulligan these two. I don't think we ever mulligan Greenglade Caretaker, and I want to keep Shen. There's some incentive to mulligan aggressively for 2s and 3s, but Shen with Caretaker is just, like, pretty good overall.
I am one with the land. Fine and wisp. Steady my hand.
Yeah, for people that are new to the channel, welcome for starters. The decks we're playing in the stream title are decks I'm planning to play today in the order in which I'm intending to play them.
These woods protect their own.
In addition to me picking out decks that I'm interested in playing on stream, a lot of the decks we play are also viewer submissions as well, like the Dreadway combo coming up next. If you have a sweet Runeterra deck that you'd like to see played on stream at some point in the future, be sure to check out my website there for details on that. Little unfortunate that I don't have anything useful to do with my mana here, just gotta pass. Fortunately, we get to bank 2 of the 3 mana, so we're not just losing all of it at least. This having Scout is kinda rough. Am I supposed to just, like, riposte to kill this? Is that crazy? I feel like that's not crazy. It, like, pumps both of these. And, like, this feels a little bit bad, but I'm still trading at least, right? So, like, this is basically a 2 for 2 still.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
Opponent is playing a controlling variation, so Ruination is a card that we're going to want to have on our radar at some point here. This could be a turn where I want a War Chefs plus Rally. Could also just play Shen, though.
Requires a watchful eye.
Hey, thanks for the 9 months, Scruff McGriffin. I appreciate it. Welcome back. How's it going? It's going really well, Demex. Runeterra is a lot of fun. Core gameplay loop is real good. So as of right now, if they just pass and don't do anything, we'll attack with giving a barrier to this and hook the spider. That being said, good chance they play something else out here. I think we're still attacking with the hook on the 3/3 now. The overlay, unfortunately, does not have the leveled champions on it. That is something I really wish they would add. So the leveled Shen is a little bit bigger, and whenever you barrier, he gives them extra attack, which is nice. We've whiffed once so far with this card today. You're not wrong in that it's a little... It's a little aggressive. Hopefully we're not about to whiff a second time. This has a barrier, so we would not trade if she attacked. Single combat's real good. Now, notable, my opponent cannot have Ruination anymore right now, though, which is pretty sweet. So I think my plan here, I have 8 mana total. I'm unfortunately 1 short from being able to Vanguard, Brightsteel, and Pursuit. That being said, I think we Elite Vanguard and hope to hit, and then War Chefs can make this big enough to kill her. Although they could just have enough spells to level her. In fact, they have a 4 Demacia heads up here. So maybe that's not what I want to do. Do I want to rally this turn is the question I have to ask myself. I think the answer is yes.
One banner, one destiny.
Because if they 4 Demacia here, that's a slow spell, which means they can't Final Spark me before I hit them, which is nice. So again, Rally lets me attack a second time. Unyielding Spirit here, I actually get to kill them through that, right? So they're gonna get to Final Spark something, but I get to... Yeah, Final Spark's slow, so I get to hook this. They block here. I guess if I give something else the +1/+1 with this, they're still not dead, right? Because it's only 12. So yeah, I do this to give this a little bit bigger, so that way this doesn't die to the Final Spark. And this is getting a barrier, so it won't die to the Final Spark either. Yeah, I can't kill them without the rally. So we'll do this to start. This can't take damage or die. And then they get to Final Spark something, but Rally's gonna kill them. Relentless Pursuit's been really impressive in this deck.
A beacon through the dark.
This card's been very good.
Everything as it should be.
Alright, we've been doing this one for almost 2 hours. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap and move along to the next one. So, very different than the list we initially started with. And honestly, I like this build a lot. One of the other decks that I played to ladder up a bunch with, is one of the ones in my deck editor here, the Demacia Bannerman deck. And this deck really felt like it took the Demacian Bannerman deck and like added one of my favorite champions to it from outside of Demacia, and like Green Glade Caretaker, super impressive. And I know like it gives us some brick chance with the Bannermen, but these cards are so powerful and let you out of spots, and like Shen synergizes with Fiora so well. I really, really liked this. So there's some versions of the Bannerman deck that splash Misfortune. I'd been kind of underwhelmed by those, but this build with Green Glade Caretaker having two really good one drops feels really powerful. So just to compare to this other deck again, the Demacia Bannerman deck has to play Sithra of Cloudfield just to like have another playable one drop, and instead getting to play Green Glade Caretaker, just like a one drop that can win the game on its own sometimes, like is really nice. FMLAO, thank you for the 5 months. Really appreciate the support. Welcome back. All right, so for folks that aren't familiar with normally how we do things around here, we are going to roll on into the next deck. Normally I tease it on screen. Actually, I have a deck code, so I can do that. So we are going to play some more Dreadway combo coming up next. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get things set up for this. We'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.